birthday, dear Cherie. Happy birthday to you. We're live.
This is probably the most spontaneous live we've done in a long, like many years.
Yeah, no, like, and particularly putting this live together after having how much wine today?
So we are currently in Southern Illinois in our van, obviously.
And we are on the Shawnee Hills wine trail. And we're like, hey, Cherie said, it's the end of the month. We haven't done a live in a long time. Maybe we should do one tonight. And do we have enough internet?
That sounded good at 11 a.m.
It sounded good at 11 a.m. And then we're like, well, okay. And actually, we got to this winery, and just kind of a jump ahead, we did a signal test at the top of the hill where we parked initially, and it was like, hey, great, but their Harvest Toast spot is down at the bottom of the hill. We got down here, and there's barely any internet, and we had to jump through hoops and make the video last minute. And anyway, we're here, we're broadcasting, we're live. Hopefully it's coming through just fine. And fingers are crossed.
Anyway, it has been, I think, 2 months since our last live update. I think we did that when we were back in Jacksonville after out cruising a little bit in the boat after the boat projects.
Right.
So we were back in Jacksonville, finished up the boat projects, did a lovely cruise back up the St. Johns River to Sanford. We did actually a produced video that we released in late July on that. So if you haven't caught that, it was our first produced video in like 6 months.
Yeah, so that's got a lot of footage of coming up the river and us talking about it and stuff. So something not live, not quite so spontaneous. So definitely check that video out from just a month ago-ish, over a month ago.
It seems like just last week I uploaded
Time
it.
has been flying. So particularly once we got back to Sanford, it went like that.
So our original plan was to be in Sanford through the end of August and then start a van trip out to Arizona after Labor Day.
Because for those of you who remember, we actually have we have a vintage bus that we missed terribly, and has been going on 2 years since we've seen it. It is out in Arizona, and so our plan for this winter was to do a van trip to see the bus, and then
come back to Florida in the
figure
winter,
it out on the way,
and then like we do every year, start the loop again.
yes, we are seriously thinking about starting the loop next spring, but there's something changed. It derailed our plans because now we're not going to Arizona directly.
So just after we got in Sanford, we got an invitation from our friends Mark and Julie of RV Love, who are involved with organizing the Eclipse Fest 23. Now, we all know about the big eclipse that happens in 2024 in April, and of course the one that happened in 2017. We are actually sitting at the spot where the two overlap, the X now.
Yes, that's where we are in Illinois, is the X marks the spot of those two other eclipses that aren't happening right now. But the eclipse that kind of leading up to the big total eclipse next year is an annular eclipse that is cutting through Oregon and parts of the West. And where we're going in Oregon for Eclipse Fest is going to be kind of the spot that has the longest view of the annular eclipse. And what makes the annular eclipse special, in some ways even cooler than a total eclipse.
We don't know, we missed the
Well, we didn't see it, but yes. But it's cool in its own way. And hopefully we'll see the next total eclipse. But the annular eclipse is a ring of fire eclipse. So the moon is further away from Earth when it passes in front of the sun. So instead of getting the sun totally blocked, you get the sun turns into a ring of fire with the moon perfectly centered on it for a brief period of time. So you get a really interesting effect. It should be quite spectacular to be in the center of that view.
So this festival is being organized at a spot where there should be over 4 minutes of total viewing of this event. Siri, we don't need your help. Thanks. So this is a 5-day festival. There's all sorts of events going on, entertainment, music, including a concert by Smash Mouth.
Yes, might as well be walking on the sun. People are going to be there when the sun disappears. So should be an interesting festival, and they're having a big RV section, and our friends at RV Love are organizing it, and
So they invited us to come in as influencers.
we're like, we are okay, we'll come, but we're not going to promote or. Anyway, whatever.
We'll mention that we're going.
We'll mention we're going.
There's no commitments to us. But already we have our friend Nina from Wheeling It. If you remember her and her husband Paul, we RV'd with them a lot a while back.
Yeah, so
they moved to France, but she is flying over from France to meet us there. So I'm super excited about that.
Nina is one of the OG RV life bloggers and has written so much wonderful stuff about living on the road, and was way back before we met them in person was Cherie's blog crush, that she was like, oh my gosh, Nina, she writes so well, and she's the only blog that we actually read.
One of the few.
Yeah, one of the very few.
But we met them, and we all just clicked as friends, and we traveled together for quite a bit before they moved to France.
Yes.
So she's coming over. RV Love will be there. Our friends Amanda and Jess are coming to meet us there, and I think Jason and Lisa are coming as well. So we've already got some friends coming.
The whole Escapers contingent is showing up.
There is a link in the description of this video. We did a blog post talking about it, so if you are in the area and want to join us there, there is still camping spots available.
The area is near Klamath Falls. Near Crater Lakes National Park in Oregon.
So there should be a lot of RV stuff going on there. So
yes. So instead of going to Arizona directly, we're like, let's go to Arizona by way of Oregon. It only adds 1,000 or so miles, and it gets us going to places we haven't had a chance to route through in a long time, if not ever. So it's like, ooh, new territory, which suddenly makes the van trip, Texas again, to new places, lots of fun, new people, or people we haven't seen in 1,000 years. So we're excited about this road trip.
So we got back to Sanford after the boat trip in late July. We hit the ground running. We booked up like 6 different musicals that we went to.
Not exaggerating, 6. Was one of them a play, or they were all musicals?
One might have been a flat.
Yeah, but we dived into live theater because there's some theaters we love right in Sanford, and we actually did a date taking the Sunrail train down to the Orlando Shakes, down more into Orlando, and soaked up live theater, and we rehooked up with our friends Theo, and started doing our regular weekly long bike rides again, and soaked up that we love those rides with him.
And lots of other friends we got to spend time with. I celebrated my 50th birthday, which is always fun.
Yes.
I only do that once a lifetime, hopefully. But yeah, it was great fun to have. I love coming back to Sanford because we've developed local friends there.
Yes.
So it always feels like coming home now. So it's great to just pull in and instantly have a network of friends. And that's something we don't experience very often on the road.
We get it in bubbles, but not in like a physical one place where we've got such a network. But then we also were reminded why we don't stay in one place too long, because summer in Florida. So we were thinking, oh, hey, we just get back to Sanford. 1 month's not going to be enough. We need to spend some more time lingering. We'll start this van trip, after Labor Day. It still gives us plenty of time to get across country. But it's hot in Florida, and it's humid.
It got hot, and we got all our plays out of the way. We'd already caught up with all of our friends. So we decided, well, why are we going to stay here for another 2 weeks in this heat? The heat bubble there was pretty intense because it's high humidity as well. So we got the boat ready. We left it fully prepped for hurricane. We've got friends there on the dock who are taking a look at her.
We left before that hurricane was forecast.
Yes.
So, yes.
And got on the road about a week ago. Got the van packed up, and we're currently in southern Illinois. We'll be spending another week or so here soon in the St. Louis area with Chris's parents.
Then heading west by way of Kansas City, Denver, out to Oregon, and then down to Arizona. So here's kind of the map over my head of our very, very rough route. So if you know cool people, cool places, cool ideas, throw them out there. We steer by serendipity. We kind of make our plans sometimes a day in advance. We're trying to work on making them a week in advance.
Take this. So that's one of the things to comment on is last summer when we did our van trip and the other extended van trips we've done, we don't like to plan too much in advance. With the van, we can pretty much get in anywhere. We can always find a harvest host. We can pull over to the side of the road.
And
we can
campgrounds always seem to be able to fit us in at the time.
Yeah, even if it's an overflow.
We've had almost no trouble
so
finding
we don't stress about being able to find things last minute. And So on the last trips that we've done, we've typically kind of sat down one afternoon and planned about a weekish in advance about where we want to go, and then actually make reservations. And that way we kind of have a schedule that we're following. This trip, we literally are waking up every morning and researching and spending.
Where do you want to go today?
Where do we want to go today? Which is fun. It's got its own element of fun, and that
Kinda
really,
like it.
Chris loves it. But that keeps getting us into this mode of we're driving every day because we keep getting to places. It's like, oh, well, the next stop will be better. So since we're not booked, we're not going to extend our reservation. Let's go see what the next place is. And then we got 5 days in a row of driving days. And by the time we got to our last stop,
We're like, we need a day
we
to
were
work
both
and
exhausted.
catch up, and we're trying not to work too much, but we still had a day of work ahead of us, and so yeah, we're going to try and get back to more of a balance. Part of it was like we were catapulting out of Sanford with we dialing in our departure date, had to bring a bunch of boat projects and van projects, had to rush through them to get everything ready to go and get out the door. So we didn't have that time to plan our initial week on the road. It was just like, let's just pull out and start driving and see where we end up today.
So every stop, so we ended up doing very long driving days because this one just gets in the habit of driving and he likes
because
back roads.
we wanted to get to St. Louis in a week too. So yeah,
Well, yeah, but you can do St. Louis in 2 days. We could have broken it up better. We could have. The trip has been exhausting. So
But
yeah,
very fun.
it has been. It has been. We've scored some great waterfront sites. Army Corps of Engineers, some of the Georgia Power site.
Yeah.
Last night's was on a wildlife refuge.
Yeah. National Wildlife Refuge, which is actually nicer than we expected.
Yeah, we found a nudist resort that we went to which was great. So we've had some great stops, but just like none of them were like compelling enough to stay 2 nights because we hadn't booked. We just like, oh well, we'll
Let's
leave.
keep going. Let's find something new.
So each stop comprised of we get there after our long driving day and we're sitting at our computers for an hour or two trying to figure out the next stop. We don't get time to get out really and explore the areas we were at, and then we've got another long driving day. So I am proposing and requesting that for the rest of this trip we go back to the method before
schedule a week at a time.
event. That way we can put the
I'm down for that.
scheduling out of the way and actually enjoy the places we're at for while we're there. And
We're down for that.
okay,
Sounds
good.
Yes. And it is nice. And actually, I kind of took a page from that today. Is like, okay, Sheree wants a schedule, so I scheduled a Harvest Host winery, wine country crawl today. So yeah, I had a schedule today. It's not for a week in advance, but 2 days in advance. 2 days and
It was
tomorrow.
nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to not have to do the scheduling thing and just like, okay, we got an adventure day. It's been driving because we're going from winery to winery, but today's not a
6 wineries today.
yeah.
It was still a long driving day, even though there was like
We
only
were
5
supposed to only
stops.
be 3, and somehow you made it 6. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
We get ambitious. You were enthusiastic.
Yes, thankfully they're just little 1 ounce cups, so and we split them, so
we
paced out
split
the
our
day
face
really
days.
well. But so we are currently in along the what is it, the Shawnee? This is the
Shawnee Hills Wine Trail in south west Illinois. It's kind of the part of Illinois where the glaciers never got to, so the terrain is up and down and up and down and really kind of beautiful.
The winery we're currently at is Starview. It's a Harvest Host. There's 4 Harvest Hosts.
Yeah, there are 4 Harvest Hosts here, so we actually checked out all 4 of them.
Yep. And so we're going to
and pick this one to stay. Well, we reserved this.
So
one
we
in
just
advance.
did a little tasting of this one and decided this is the bottle we're going to buy here. Well, we bought 3 bottles because we're going to go visit family, so we're going to bring them
we
some
stocked
wine.
up with wine, so we and here's to everybody who tuned in on a very nearly last moment.
That is good. That's a Chamberson.
Yeah, they do some good wine here.
Yep. So if you've got questions about nomadic life, about our life, whatever.
Where we're gonna be, all that fun stuff.
So someone says, do we like the van more than the bus?
Oh, let's start the questions then. Here we go.
So we have a boat, a van, and a bus.
They all serve their purpose.
Exactly. So
For going to wineries in Southwest Illinois, the van is best.
for doing hyper travels, the van is best.
For being on the water, the boat is best.
Yeah, I don't want to be in an RV on the water. So
But waterfront, the van
Yes.
is good.
yes.
For being in the desert?
The boat we loved. I mean, sorry, the van. Sorry, the bus. I get them mixed up still.
The bus.
The bus was awesome. We full-timed in the bus from 2011 to 2017. Loved it. But she's a 1961. Keeping her maintained and safe on the road, she's kind of dirty polluting wise.
Well,
But
how little we drive her is not.
yeah, but still,
We're recycling her by
so
using her.
we really love her when we are in Arizona at our co-op lot because she's a great house.
And she's also a great, like, we took her to the annual bash last time we took her out on a trip and stuff. She's a great Arizona bus, and I'm not sure we'll ever take her out of the Southwest again, just because it's not a comfortable. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's not the best cross country travel vehicle.
It is slow. It's for slow drives and stuff
55.
like that.
And
yeah, she doesn't climb mountains very well. I mean, you're going 20 miles per hour up mountains. We can at max go 55 miles per hour. It's 35 feet, so we have to be more conscious about the campsites we can go to.
We definitely have been spoiled by the nimbleness of the van. That basically any place a car can go. So basically, we could take the van.
No, we don't like the van more than the bus. Yes, we do like the van better for traveling around and exploring.
But once we're stopped for,
I wish we could just convert.
Press a button
And convert between the two.
If we're stopping someplace for a week, the van, we've done it, and the van is okay.
2 or 3 nights in the van, and it's getting claustrophobic.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're someplace for a week, we definitely want to have more space. And that's where the bus was. The bus was wonderful space. So we kind of love having all three.
Variety. That's what we love. And the boat. And then mixing it up with the boat, which is like a mansion in comparison.
And it floats.
And it's kind of like our...
The van and the boat the van and the bus do not float as best I know, and I don't want to test it, so. Yeah. Any other questions? We have a pretty small crowd because we put this out at such a last minute, but hey, it's kind of fun. Oh, and actually we could flip this down and have some sunset view behind us.
Sure you want to deal with that?
I don't know. Do you want a view? Send up the thumbs up if you want to see a pretty winery view behind us.
It's a grass field with trees.
Fine.
There's no view.
Okay. No view for you guys. Sorry.
There's no view. You have this like imaginary, like there's vineyards behind us, and they're not. The vineyards are that way.
Oh, but here, I could spin the camera then. There. Vineyard view. There. Vineyards.
That's a cornfield, but okay.
Oh, the vineyard's up the hill. Fine. It's a cornfield is a Illinois vineyard. Yeah. If you don't ask questions, I'll point the camera at random things. So there you go.
So Richard also mentioned that Kiki is starting to show her age, and yes, Kiki will turn 15 in October, and we will actually be her birth state is Oregon. So we are taking her to Oregon for her birthday. So the festival starts on her birthday.
That's partly why they're scheduled the festival. That's actually why they scheduled the Eclipse, was to celebrate Kiki. We put in a request and the son said sure. My favorite cat.
So Roller Angel wants to know if
did we make it through Adelia? Okay.
Why not make it through Adelia? Okay, so Adelia went much more north of Central Florida. Our friends back on the dock reported that it was just a rainy day there.
Yeah, I think I saw like an inch and a half of rain, and like 25 mile an hour was the top gust. So it was pretty mild on our weather station.
But it was brutal coming. Like our beloved Cedar Key, which is right there in the Big Bend area of, we were just watching that and
when the Weather Channel comes to town, it's going to be a bad day, and Cedar Key was basically hit record storm surge, and I saw footage of this town that we adore. We've done videos on Cedar Key, meetups there in the past. We almost bought property in Cedar Key. It's one of the first towns that ever had us fantasize about buying a fixed place.
Well, it had a runway, a boat port, and RV parking.
Yes, which is my trifecta. It's like, okay, I could have a house on the water with an airplane and an RV and a little house to have friends visit, and it's amazingly cute downtown with some shops and cool restaurants. And that property is cheap, and we spent a couple days fantasizing and clicking around on Zillow in Cedar Key, and I guess I'm kind of glad we didn't buy there because it's all underwater. The storm surge was pretty brutal there. It's really they had record storm surge, so it's scary.
So yes, of course, this question is asked every single video.
And we got a better answer for once. Maybe.
When will you go back to your original planned boat loop? So as you know, we bought the boat to do the Great Loop, and got delayed with the pandemic. Came back to Sanford, so we have been based in the boat has been based in Sanford since the start of the pandemic. We intended to start it again last spring. However, I had some medical issues come up that kept us in Sanford longer.
And we had some boat projects that we wanted to tackle that kept us in Jacksonville longer too.
Yep.
So yeah, so it was not the good year to do it last year, but the trip reminded us of how much we like boating. So the trip to Jacksonville.
So yeah, we are setting intentions to restart the loop next spring. Sanford is going through some growth situations.
Yep.
The marina is going to have to be redone after the hurricane.
Yeah, Ian, something about ice storms in Florida. But yeah, Ian last year really, really, really damaged the marina in Sanford, and they basically are setting it up so that they're not letting new transients or long-term residents move in, and they're going to basically keep trying to push people out until they basically tear apart the marina and rebuild it. It's going to be a multi-year project, and so there's going to be
but we've done our time in Sanford.
Yeah.
I'm feeling now that we have gotten what we need out of Sanford.
For now.
At least that's our feeling now. We'll see what it feels like when we get back this winter. But I think a couple more months in Sanford this winter, I think we're going to be ready to set out. And when we set out, we just know that we will not be able to come back to Sanford until the marina is rebuilt.
Yeah, once we leave, the spot will be gone, and that just the city will be working on rebuilding it, and Sanford's always super dear in our heart, but I think maybe next March,
I think
April,
I'm starting to feel it. Like when we got back this summer, maybe definitely the heat was a big part of not wanting to stay there. But after 2 or 3 weeks, we're
caught up.
We're done. There's nothing left to do. I mean,
the
restaurants are gotten mundane for us.
Yep.
It's like we're not finding we want to keep going to the same restaurants. The prices of the restaurants have gotten really crazy insane.
I think that'll be everywhere. But so much there. It's time to do something fun and new. So that's kind of the plan. And we write our plans in Jello, so that's kind of our tentative plan. Once we get back from this van trip over the winter, we'll be back to Sanford, depending on how we just split up the holidays in December, January. Yeah, we want to definitely be in Sanford for February, because there's so much awesome stuff happens in February, like Porch Fest and Love Your Shorts Film Festival, and that's the time when the city is most alive. And then we'll be starting to gear up for cruising away come like March and April.
Yeah, that's what we're setting our mind towards, and so that's the plan for now. Intentions, not plan. We don't plan.
More than a week in advance, because that's your request. So 1 week. Any other questions people want to throw out, or do we get to enjoy our wine and go stroll?
We still have our watches are demanding more steps.
Apparently, the Apple Watch does not have a wine walk or wine trail tour workout. So there was a lot of this, but I didn't get a lot of points. It's just wrong. Yeah.
So yes, we need to go get some walking in, get some points in, because we did a bike ride this morning before we set off, and we haven't had a lot more activity.
Yeah, so this is a nice bike ride, but I guess we probably should have done a longer bike ride. But we got half our points for the day. Yeah, we got so spoiled in Sanford by doing these 40-mile bike ride days, and 8 miles. This is not the same amount of points.
So we one thing when we were in Sanford, our friend Theo kind of owns a bike shop and a German restaurant.
Yeah, co-owns a bike shop.
So he got us out on full-size electric bikes, high-end ones.
And he spoiled us. He ruined us.
So our little E-Joes are great. We love our E-Joes, which are 20-inch wheel folding electric bikes that we've had for the past 2.5 years.
We've got well over 2,000 miles on them, and have put a lot of good trips on them.
We went and we test rode a whole bunch of different full-size bikes, and so we're shopping for bikes now.
And also we got to test fit them because part of the reason we never got full-size bikes is we didn't think there'd be an easy way to store them on Why Not, but we got to take one of these test bikes and find several different ways to get them into our cockpit. They're still going to be stored outside, so that's a consideration. We need bikes that will be durable, but it's like full-size bikes can fit. These lighter electric bikes we tried were actually easier to get on and off Why Not than our folding electrics because they were lighter. And so now we're kind of got the itch for bigger, better bikes.
There's just such a difference. They have the adaptive pedal assist, which is so much different than the
torque sensor instead of a cadence sensor makes the ride so much different.
Belt driven instead of chain, which is better for maintenance on the boat. Yep. So yeah, we've got our dollar signs in our eyes on new bikes. So.
Yeah, so certainly in the not too distant future, we'll be doing a serious bike upgrade. Anybody who's got favorite bikes, throw recommendations our way, but we were looking at the
Specialized Vado.
Specialized Vado SL is my favorite of the ones I test drove. Oh my god, that was so fun to ride. It was it was just such a blast, and that kind of set a new bar of coolness for bikes, and I want one. So, or something similar.
All right, I don't have much more to update on. We'll be in
No.
St. Louis this starting this weekend.
Yep, for Labor Day weekend we'll be in St. Louis with family, but we will be out and about, and then heading west. So
Yep. And the Eclipse Fest is October 10th through 15th.
15th, yep. The Eclipse is on October 14th, and a big chunk of the west will be exposed to a partial eclipse, but the little core path will have that annular Ring of Fire eclipse, and Oregon will be the longest spot with the Ring of Fire. So, we're excited to be there in the middle of it all. It's kind of interesting that where we are here in Illinois is where the other two eclipses cross. So it's this kind of an eclipse trip for us. So
Yep. We actually bought a bottle of wine because they make special eclipse wines here.
everything around here is all about the
The
eclipse.
So we have a special eclipse bottle to take to the eclipse that we're going to.
Yeah, so hey, friends will see us at the eclipse. We might have some eclipse wine to share with you. So hey, cool.
So
And
that's just a quick update. Thanks for joining in on this very spontaneous live. We're going to try to stick to doing these monthly.
but they might not have a lot of notice, so there's that.
Because especially when we're in travel mode, it's all about, do we have connection? Do we have energy? Do we have time for this? Do we have something to talk about? But yeah, if you've got ideas for topics you would like us to address in the future, let us know. If not, it'll just be us babbling about what we're up to.
And speaking of, Casey is saying go to the City Museum in St. Louis. We've
Been there many times.
We love the City Museum in St. Louis. That's one of our favorite places. Maybe we'll get back there this year. So, but yes, City Museum is one of the coolest things in the entire Midwest. So.
It's not a museum. Well, it is a museum, but you need knee pads for it. It's awesome.
And of course from Richard, who we actually hope to see in the not too distant future. He's giving love to Kiki. He is officially Kiki's biggest fan. So yes, he always, anytime you say the word Kiki, he seems to log in. So Richard, Kiki is looking forward to seeing you again. So awesome. And yes, awesome. Okay, thanks everybody, and it has been good seeing you. We're gonna do the outro with some little quick video clips of our last month-ish. So see y'all down the road.
Time.
Bye. Happy birthday, dear Cherie. Happy birthday to